The following podcast is provided by Era Living, innovator in residential retirement options since 1987. And welcome everyone to Answers for Elders Radio Network. And we are here on behalf of the wonderful organization called Era Living, who has 8 communities throughout Greater Puget Sound and King County, Washington. And certainly they provide an amazing service for seniors to help them in their later chapter of life. And we are here with an amazing individual that is part of the staff, and it's Catherine Arendt, and she is called at Era the At Your Service Manager. And that basically is an amazing position to help seniors when they first move in. Catherine, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Catherine, tell us a little bit about what the At Your Service Manager does, because this is really exciting.
Yes. We have 2 phases, really. I do downsize workshops, which is really a very helpful tool for people to come and listen, because we all need to start working through the things in our homes and fine-tuning them. And so getting them the right information for them to start doing that is a really helpful tool. Yeah. And then once they choose an apartment at Aljoya, I get to go over to their home and help them with figuring out what they're going to bring to their new home. And I do that by walking with them. They show me what they would like to bring. I measure it, and I take pictures of it. And then when I get back to the office, I can put it on a floor plan. And I always tell them I am not a designer, I'm a space planner. So, but just to know that those items are going to fit and that they know that they can bring them is such a big relief for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I think, one of the things, we have promotions going on the radio right now where a lady says, my kids are bugging me to leave this house, but it's too much to deal with to stay and too much to deal with to move. I think there's a lot of seniors out there that feel that way, that it's just overwhelmed. They've accumulated a life of, 50, 70 years in a house sometimes. I mean, it's amazing how long people have lived in their homes. And, what you're finding is that sometimes you get attached to stuff too. So you're an amazing resource for them, no doubt, in helping them kind of through this process. What do you find is most common with seniors today when they're contemplating this move? This is probably something very early on that you must get involved in very quickly. Right.
People do have all of those emotions about, in fact, they often will delay their move longer than maybe they really want to, simply because they're afraid. I actually just recently did a downsize workshop with someone from a moving company that we use all the time. And after the event, one of the women came up and said that the person sitting next to her leaned over and said to her before it started how afraid she was of this whole process, but that after we were done, she felt so much better. And so knowledge is really power. And really getting that information and to people and letting them know that they're not alone and that I'm going to walk with them through this whole process, and that everyone is out for making this an easy process for them. And they really, truly do feel that in the end. It's such a privilege to be able to walk this path with them. And it all really starts with downsizing. And starting that. Everyone should be doing that. We all should be doing that now, but to really to really start it and keep at it makes such a big difference. So you don't have to do everything at one time.
So now you start when they first come to you. What kind of services do you offer and help with overall?
Okay. So when they choose an apartment, like I said, I go out and measure the furniture. I help them find the right mover for them. And then I am with them through that process. So we are helping them get their internet and their television set up. We are helping them find the right mover. We are helping them just go through every single step of the process. And then I am with them on move day too. So when the movers come,
Oh, nice.
then I am with them and help them. We have the floor plan that is already set up. So so that the movers, when they come in, can just see where everything goes. And then I'm there with the resident to help them with any issues. We feed all the movers. I learned that very early on.
Nice.
Movers and the families, because on move day, people are stressed out and busy and no one really takes time to eat. And very early on, I said, we must feed these people.
That's amazing.
It makes a really big difference to feed them.
Well, I'm sure it does. And you know, building a relationship too with movers that you trust also is an important part of the process. And I know stuff we can get attached to, but it's also somebody like you that has been in their home and understands the things that are most important to them. It helps them through the process of this change. And I think that's the most dramatic thing. Personally, for me, I'm facing a move as we speak, and it's just overwhelming to me. And I can only imagine if I were, 15, 20 years older, it would be even more difficult. So, Catherine, as you work with seniors and they're experiencing, situations, what is it like once they get through the process?
Well, once they get through the process, they will, they're just far more relaxed. So they may call me with just this major issue that they think is really daunting and no one has probably ever experienced. And really for me, I can just say, I completely understand. I know what you're going through, and you're not the only one who has gone through this. And everything's going to be okay. And I sort of learned early on that I have a way of being able to soothe people and make them relax during that process. And so I think that is what really is a great tool for me and for the people moving in, is that they know that I really care and that I've been through it many times with many different moves, and that I'm never really surprised. And every once in a while, something different might happen, but I'm just really not surprised by it. So to me, I think that just having a calming influence really helps people. And in the end, they are on move day, when the movers have left and their furniture is in place, and sometimes even all the unpacking is done if they have chose to have people help them with that. They can just sigh, and just get on with living. And our goal is for them to be able to get out in the community as soon as possible once they move, so that they can meet new people and take advantage of all the fun things that are going on in the community, and that they can put that move behind them. So we do everything we can to make that an easy step for them.
And also, I can only imagine they don't even know initially what to bring, because obviously your life is changing. You might have every kitchen gadget in the world, and you're not going to need all that anymore unless you want it. The point is that, you don't have to even cook a meal ever again if you don't want to. So
it's hard to convince the people sometimes of that. They like to bring their things. So, but that's okay.
Yeah. And, the thing is, I'm sure, with your wisdom and things like that you give to people, that's really important. So, Now, for those of us that across the world, what kind of advice would you have for people that are downsizing or right sizing?
You need to start right now.
Mhm.
And you need to just, this is what I do in my home. I
Mhm.
go through my house as I'm just walking through a room. I'll stop and I'll look at things and I'll say, what do I use every day? And what do I really, really love?
Mhm.
And if you really start focusing on just those two things,
Mhm.
everything else just kind of falls away, and it gets to be much
Yeah.
easier to let things go.
Yeah. I've also heard too, I don't know if you agree with this, but if it's one cupboard a day, or if it's
Right,
one,
right.
drawer a day or something like that, it's like they say, how do you eat an elephant? Just one bite at a time, right? You don't
Yes.
take it in little chunks. I mean, do you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. You can work by category, or you can
Uh-huh.
work by room. Sometimes working by room is really a great option because you can
Mhm.
see the results of that fairly quickly. You
Mhm.
should never work, especially starting out, set a timer for 15 minutes. And when that timer goes off, you have the option of quitting or saying, well, I think I can go a little bit longer, and reset that timer.
Oh, great
But
idea.
you need to break it down into chunks. Writing goals, coming up
Mhm.
with a plan, and know that this is really emotional and it's okay for you to
Yeah.
feel those emotions. And then put those goals someplace where you can see them, and then just start working that plan slowly but surely. And it is so much easier to do that and have a lot of that work done before you actually decide to move. You'll
Mhm.
actually probably make your decision more easily to move because a lot of that has been done. And know
Yeah.
also that there's professionals that can come out and help you with that
Yeah.
if you need help. So you don't
And
have to do it.
that makes all the difference in the world for sure. And Catherine, I love this conversation. I would love to do many more with you on this topic. I think there's a lot of information out there that you have to share. And we'd also love to have you come back and do a webinar with us for our listeners. And so think about that, my friend.
I will think about that. Thank you.
Thank you. And in the meantime, everyone, if you're interested in what Catherine does and the type of service that Era Living offers, I could not strongly recommend them even more. They're in the greater King County area, 8 locations, and you can reach them through Era Living, that's ERA living.com. And thanks again, Catherine.
Thank you.
Era Living is locally owned and operates 8 premier retirement communities in Seattle, Renton, Mercer Island, Bellevue, and Issaquah. From vibrant, independent living to compassionate assisted living to secure memory care, Era Living respects and honors older adults by enhancing the quality of their lives. Learn more at eraliving.com.